Hey guys, this is Derekus, and this is Channel Zapped. Today I'm going to be reviewing Gail Simone's and Ed Bens's Birds of Prey. This is going to be Of Like Minds. This is the first graphic novel. It's a collection of the first 6 issues of their run. And this is the original was issues 56 to 61. So I'm pretty excited to review this because the Birds of Prey series is what pulled me back into comics. I had stopped collecting or stopped reading comics. By that time, I was, 6 years removed, 7 years removed, I think. So yeah, this was a good, fun run. I really enjoyed this. Issue 61 was my first issues, my first introduction to Birds of Prey. And it was the first time that I've ever felt, I've never knew anything about Black Canary. I didn't know who she was. I knew who she was. I knew her powers, and I was just like, Black Canary, I'm not interested. But it's because of this series that I'm a huge Black Canary fan now. I mean, I love her. I love her humanity. I love her wit, her fun. She's fun. She's so fun. And Oracles is always a great time. I was a huge Oracle fan back from the Batman and Nightwing and the Robin run. They had their series during the mid '90s. And the series was created by Chuck Dixon, who created. He laid down a lot of the foundation and a lot of the background for the Batman run in the '90s, with Tim Drake, with Nightwing, Dick Grayson finally getting his own series. So that huge love of them. And Huntress is a good time. I never really cared for her before this series, but it's because of this series also that she's become a great character. So this series is their first run together where they're coming together as a team. Even though Huntress doesn't really join the team until the next story arc, which is a great time too. I think that was the Sensei and Student. I think that's the name of the next graphic novel. But best believe I have that because I have all of Gail Simone's Birds of Prey run, both times that she was on it. So it's a great time. But for this one, this is a great foundation, great jumping on point for anyone who is interested in the Birds of Prey run. I think, in my opinion, it's because of this run that the characters really came to life. They became human. They became more relatable. And it's just, I like seeing strong females in a book that have personality, that has fun. They have fun. They joke with each other. They share their sorrows. It's very rare when you get a book where it's just where the friends are this real. And they're there for one another. They care for one another. And they all have personalities, and they have faults, they have flaws, and that comes out beautifully in this series. So this is the foundation for which the vast majority of things, what people know about Birds of Prey, I believe it comes from Gail Simone's run, honestly. This is by no means to take anything away from Chuck Dixon, who did the original run. He created the series. It was his idea. Gail just took it, made it her own, and she really outdid herself with this. This series also introduces, they introduce 2 fan favorite characters, Savant and Creote. This is their first appearance. They are the main villains in this, and they have their own personality. They have flaws. Gail makes them human. And it's my first time running across a gay character, where I'm like, he didn't come across as a stereotypical gay character. And how it was brought into this story, and it was a sense of loyalty that he stayed with Savant. And Creo is the gay character. If you haven't gone and read it yet, I feel fairly good about saying, this, we're about a good 10 years removed since this. Wow, 10 years. It's been 10 years since this series came out. But it's a great run. Creo, gay character. Savant, not so. At this point, you don't even know what he is, which is fine, because you don't, in real life, you don't. There are times where you don't know who is gay, who's not gay, and so, and Gail she doesn't preach in this book. It's just about characters, humans, making bad decisions, making good decisions, becoming heroes, trying to take responsibility for mistakes made. You have a minor character in here who sets the whole thing off, and it starts off brilliantly with Black Canary on a mission, and it's a great run. So story and plot wise, I would give this a 10. The art, Ed Benes, I never get tired of him, and I remember he did some work on X-Men back in the 90s. And I remember picking that up because he had a run. It was the introduction of Dr. Cecilia Reed, or maybe it was later when she was crashing at the X Mansion in X-Men. But his work there, I was a huge fan of his work then. His other work he did with Gen 13, I love. Justice League, he's done some work there since then also. So good art, good, very solid art. There's a lot of cheesecake in it. I like cheesecake. I don't care. I'm like, it doesn't bother me one way or the other. I don't get distracted by it. I'm like, yeah, there are times where I look at Huntress's costume and I'm just like, yeah, how impractical is that? But that was a Jim Lee design, so that was during the whole Hush storyline, and I was like, really, Huntress? But whatever, sex sells. It didn't take away from anything from the story. And she even makes light of it in there, in this story. Characters, very strong characterization, just across the board. I love the characters. I really, really do. It's a good, fun run. There is an undercurrent of darkness throughout, because you're dealing with some serious things in this, and Gail, she often explores that a lot in her stories, the baser instincts of human nature, but she makes it fun too, and that's what I like. So you don't get too dark and heavy, which is something that I feel comes across more in her current Batgirl run. But I like that because it's a different kind of book dealing with villains who are very deprived or depraved, and they. In this story, you have that undercurrent where that's there. The breaking of Black Canary's legs, vicious. Who does that? And that's explored in here. Watching that, you look at it and how Canary is able to overcome that and is like, I'm not going to be afraid. And I love that about her. Oracle, very determined, very smart. Huntress, vicious, but caring also. I'm like, just in the scene with the baby and how she respects Black Canary. And so I love that. It's just fun. The darkness, the lightness of it, the characters. Gail does a really good job with the balancing act. And in terms of action, this book is hugely just kick ass with action. I love that about this book. So all in all, if I have to give this book a rating, I would give it a 10, just straight out. I'm like, because just across the board, story and plot, art, characterization, the fun factor, the action factor, it's all great. It's all really great, and I'm glad I was pulled back into comics because of this. For a long time, Birds of Prey was the only book that I would read when I came back. And it's for that reason that I'm going to go through and I'm going to review all of the graphic novels of the Birds of Prey series, because the series means a lot to me and I like it. And of course, this is going to be kind of a biased review, but I wanted to share it, and because everybody should be reading this. And if you're not, there's something wrong with you. Everybody should read it at least once. So yeah, no. If you're into Birds of Prey, if you like, Oracle, you're a fan of Black Canary, Huntress, it's a great run. Savant, Creo, I like both of them. I love the direction Gail took them in. So yeah, check it out. So Birds of Prey, of Like Minds. It's out. Graphic novels. You can get it on Comixology. You can get it in the bookstores. So yeah, I would say definitely check it out. All right, guys. Next up, I don't know what I'm going to be reviewing next. Is we'll see what comes up, what happens. But yeah, thanks for checking this out, and we will check you out with the next review. Peace. Keep chilling.